Have you ever noticed that the dumbest people are often the most confident? This isn't just a random observation you make at family gatherings while retired accountant Uncle Bob explains quantum physics. It's a cognitive bias called the Dunning-Kruger Effect, and it's been making stupid people feel like geniuses since 1999. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. It's not just dumb people who fall for it. You do. I do. We all do. Hey rockers! Now you'll find out why your brain is quietly screwing you over, making you more confident than you should be, and why that might already be costing you more than you think. You'll either feel enlightened, or like you just got roasted by science. Probably both. But then, we are finishing off with a twist nobody talks about. Are you ready to rock? Let's rock that wisdom! The Dunning-Kruger Effect exposes a hilarious and mildly tragic gap between what we think we know and what we actually know. It's that weird phenomenon where beginners in any field strut around like peacocks, completely overestimating their abilities.
Not only do these people reach erroneous conclusions and make unfortunate choices, but their incompetence robs them of the ability to realize it.
Being bad at something makes you too dumb to realise how bad you are. Science backs this up. Researchers found people scoring in the bottom quarter of tests still rated themselves above average. Meanwhile, the real experts are off to the side, whispering, "Well, I think I might be okay at this," while they're actually crushing it. And the best part? This effect isn't about how smart you are overall. It's about the specific blind spots we all have. You could be a genius rocket scientist and still fall victim to this when trying to assemble IKEA furniture. And rocker friend, if you're sitting there thinking, good thing this doesn't apply to me. Congrats, you just Dunning-Krugered yourself. Let me walk you through how this plays out in real life, and I promise it will feel uncomfortably familiar.
The trouble with ignorance is that it feels just like expertise.
Think about learning something new. Say, playing the guitar. At first, you learn 15 chords and suddenly you think you're halfway to Hendrix status. Then you meet someone who's been playing for 10 years, and reality smacks you in the face like a cold fish. All those YouTube tutorials didn't prepare you for this brutal moment of truth. And guess what? This confidence crash happens everywhere. That one co-worker who barely knows Excel but lectures you on finances? Dunning-Kruger. Until the boss asks them to run a real report, and they panic Google how to use pivot tables in the bathroom. New gym bros thinking they're personal trainers. Fucking Dunning-Kruger. Until they load up the bar confidently, attempt to squat, and nearly collapse. That's the crash. The "oh shit, I actually know nothing" moment. Welcome to the Valley of Despair on the Dunning-Kruger curve. If this is hitting a little too close to home, do me a favour. Drop a comment below and tell me the last time you totally Dunning-Krugered yourself. Come on, we've all been there. Confession is the first step to wisdom. All right, now let me tell you about the dumbest criminal of all time. If you think this is just some abstract science bullshit, wait until you hear how it all started. This whole theory was inspired by one of the stupidest criminals in modern history. This absolute genius robbed banks with his face completely visible, but thought, get this, rubbing lemon juice on his face would make him invisible to security cameras. Because, in his words, lemon juice works as invisible ink. So obviously it would make my face invisible too. I'm not making this up. Dunning-Kruger saw this and thought,
Wait, how can someone be this wrong yet so confident?
And boom, the Dunning-Kruger effect was born. Crazy story, yeah. But here's the problem. This guy isn't an exception. He's a symptom. Because it's not just dumb criminals making disastrous, overconfident decisions. It's politicians, CEOs, and people with real power. And that's when shit gets dangerous. The Dunning-Kruger effect doesn't just make people embarrassing, it makes them dangerous, because people who don't know what they don't know still make decisions. Big ones. And those decisions affect the rest of us. And here's what's fucked up. The smarter you think you are, the less likely you are to double-check yourself. As Dunning-Kruger put it,
People miss their own incompetence because they're missing the skills to recognize their own incompetence.
and that's how bad ideas get power. But the worst part, you don't get a free pass just because you're aware of it. Dunning-Kruger isn't some other people problem. It's happening in your brain too. So the real question is, how do you make sure you're not the idiot in the room? So how do you fight back against this sneaky brain glitch? First, get comfortable saying, I have no fucking idea. It's shockingly liberating. Try it. Second, get feedback from people who actually know their shit. Find someone brutally honest. Third, get off your high horse and accept that you don't know everything. Recognise that your brain has blind spots. And trust me, they're bigger than you think. Let me show you. Remember that time you dished out life advice like some kind of enlightened guru, only to realise later you had zero clue what the hell you were talking about? And now, some poor bastard is out there making catastrophic life choices because you ran your mouth with the confidence of a drunk fortune teller? Yeah, that. Or that time you went all in on an argument, absolutely convinced you were right, only to later realise your facts were about as accurate as a horoscope written by a monkey. Or that time you thought, I don't need to hire someone, I'll just fix this myself, and ended up creating a problem so bad even GPT was like, dude, call a professional. That's your overconfidence running face first into reality like a bird into a glass door. Okay, so now you know that your brain is out here, making you overconfident in ways you don't even realise. But before you swear off ever speaking with certainty again, there's a twist. This whole effect might actually be the reason you've achieved anything at all. Here's the twist nobody talks about. That initial overconfidence. It might actually be a necessary delusion. Think about it. If you fully understood how hard something was before you started, would you even try? Would you ever step into a boxing ring if you knew you'd spend the first year getting your ass handed to you before you learned how to dodge without looking like a drunk octopus? Probably not. You'd quit before you even started. That boxing ring is basically every endeavour you take on. Sorry, every endeavour you could take on, if you were confident enough. A 2018 study by Sanchez and Dunning found that beginners often experience a beginner's bubble. A surge of early overconfidence right after learning a little bit. This can sometimes lead to stupid mistakes, but it also keeps people engaged long enough to actually improve. Dunning himself straight up called it like it is.
A little knowledge can be a dangerous thing, but it can also be the first step to real understanding.
So yeah, early stage overconfidence might be a cruel joke, but it also gets you in the game. The trick, knowing when to step off Mount Stupid before you crash. So, to recap, your brain can be a smug little bullshit artist, but sometimes that lie is just enough to get you started. The key? Ride the confidence wave long enough to learn, but not so long that you crash into full-blown delusion. So stay curious, question yourself, and for the love of science, don't be the lemon juice guy.